Hello, you absolute lovelies. It is Hotline de Mayo. As of recording this, it is Hotline de Septo. I don't know what 7 is in Spanish. I took French. But Siete. Hotline de Siete. Hope you're doing well.
I'm so proud of that. You have no idea how proud I am. I knew that.
I just, off the dome, like quickly.
I took 2 years of Spanish in high school.
I took 5 years of French, and I remember about as much.
I only learned bad words.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I know how to count to like something. 20 maybe? I don't know.
No, you can't even get to 7.
In French.
Oh, French. Gotcha. Okay,
but like that's what I retained from 5 years.
Perfectly
Either
fair.
way, welcome to KoiCast. It's a pop culture-based podcast, but this episode is specifically a you-led pop culture podcast. You guys are steering the ship. We always say you're the co-hosts, and we are diving deep into the hotline calls this week to make up for lost time, plus a little bit of news, a smidge, just because it's oh so topical. We have opposing experiences of something that is, I guess, not a spoiler now because it's in the marketing, so you probably heard about it. But
I just heard about it moments
as
ago.
I walked in. I want to hear your take.
Yeah. So, by the way, I appreciate you wearing blue, as the memo said.
Yep, got
and
it.
I have your hair color hat on.
And look how good we look against the brown wall.
We look the most.
Look at the pop.
You look really nice. So you just came from shooting.
I did. I was just shooting
Mac
DC.
Stuff,
Yeah,
DC stuff.
Yeah. So I
look like a bum in comparison.
I just got all zhuzhed.
Not fair.
I'm tired, so I think I'll deteriorate. You'll stay this way, and I'm gonna slowly fade into Clayface.
That's fair. Hi, Catherine in the chat. By the way, we are live for the Patreon. You don't need to be a paid member of Patreon. You just need to be a member, and you can watch our recordings live. We do live streams. This is what happens, and they're very exciting. Thanks to everybody I see joining us. We got some familiar faces, and some folks I think we're gonna hear from in a hotline later as well. Darth Vadad in the chat. Hey, so will Jake see Thunderbolts by this time next year? No, but I very well may see New Avengers.
Oh,
the New Avengers.
What a cool thing.
So they changed the name of the movie a week after releasing it. Now, is it changed on IMDb yet, you think?
Is it also going to be on Blu-ray as the new, like,
right?
You know what I mean?
Is this a Edge of Tomorrow situation?
But in a good way, as opposed to
more
making
intentionally.
the name lesser.
Yes, intentionally.
Because I said, I'd want to say a year ago when they announced the asterisks, I'm like,
I didn't understand the asterisks, and I thought it was something that we would see in the movie. And I thought it was a reference to something we would see, which, by the way, I have not seen it yet.
And I will say you'll still have a good old time.
Sure. I mean, whatever.
But what I'm saying is the asterisk isn't done for you.
Right. Sure.
But what's really cool is I said about a year ago when the asterisk was announced, I'm like, they'd never do it because it'd be like $1 billion marketing thing to have the name Avengers. But like, I feel like this is Dark Avengers. Like, I feel like it'd be crazy if a week out or 2 weeks out, they just like started saying it was Dark Avengers.
Right.
And I was so close to right. Like, I have so many receipts.
Very
being
close.
Like,
Dark,
I bet it's,
new.
Like, it's not far off. And the way it's done in the movie is really fun. And I actually, got to talk with these guys because I hosted the premiere for the Hollywood Reporter. And it was really cool to talk to them on the carpet when they couldn't say it, and then talk to them at the after party after and be like, you did the thing.
Right.
And then today, Sebastian Stan was walking around Burbank changing posters.
Wait, really? That's fun.
Yeah, like he the Thunderbolts posters, he had the huge banners and he was taping them and covering them with New Avengers banners.
Oh, so he wasn't just replacing the name.
No, he was the whole poster.
And it'd be funny if they just had stickers.
It looks like that.
Right, yeah.
But it's Seb's Thunder, it's his Bucky, and then he just rolls it down and it looks like it's taped over.
That's
so he's walking
fantastic.
around Burbank doing that.
I mean, it's interesting. It's
smart.
I think it's one of those things where, as somebody who hasn't seen it yet and haven't participated in it, you're a little irritated because you feel like you've been punished.
But does it intrigue you more?
What do you say?
Does it intrigue you about the movie?
No, it just irritates me a little bit, but only if you, having a person who's seen it and raved about it already, is that something that's addressed in the movie?
The name?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why it's annoying to me, because that's my assumption. And so therefore it is kind of a spoiler.
And that's fair. Right. I think it's also like they know first weekend box office is essential. And then it's like, how do we get legs? How do we get second weekend? And I think in that way, the casual fan is like, wait, I thought it was Thunderbolts. How is it new? And that is something that is new to Marvel.
And I think that's like, there is something about, we'll get people talking about it, but I kind of just think they pulled the trigger too soon.
I would have waited.
Give it another 2 weeks or another 1 week.
Yeah, I think a second week.
Because all your diehards are still already planning on going, right? Like, not everybody gets there in week 1. Like, it's just people have lives. I think by the end of week 2, that's when everybody who was gonna see it is gonna see it in a theater, guaranteed. Not like people like Alexandra and I who like, I mean, this one we're more interested in, but like New World Order, we were like, oh, we would go, like, you know, if we find the time and if it works. But like,
this is a make time one, but it's not necessarily the first week with Cause Life.
And that's why I feel like if they had done this on week 2, all of those holdouts might have been like, well, shit, now I am interested more than I was, which is why I was waiting. If that makes any sense.
But it's also like, you know, we're going into May and there's a lot of big releases. Like I feel like there's always that concern and retention is so hard. And this is an exceptional movie that I think is going to have legs. I'm curious about how many people are now, oh, I wasn't interested, but am now versus.
Maybe. Robin West Parker in the chat says it's not changed on Letterboxd, which I think pulls from the movie database, not IMDb, not Internet Movie Database, but TMDB. That's where that data comes from. So it's not changed on the movie database, but it might still be.
They changed the big West Hollywood banner, which is like
check IMDb. That's what I just saw.
Oh, is
so the reason why it was spoiled for me was somebody just posted something that said, you know, they are updating the marketing, you know, all throughout Los Angeles, and it's like the giant billboard that they're halfway through. Which right now it just says, the New Bolts, I think is what it says,
nice,
or the Avebolts.
It's so big,
the Avebolts or something like that.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it's a movie worth. I'm really, I mean, spoiler free. I loved it a lot. And like, it felt like Marvel phase 1 through 3, where it felt like it had importance. And it also, I think there've been great movies since Endgame, but a lot of them have been great resolutions. This is the first one alongside Shang-Chi that feels like it's a launch.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know that's entirely fair, but
but like that feels like it's looking
really,
forward.
Right.
Like, I feel like I loved Guardians 3, but we were associated. I feel like I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I know
Loki was also felt like an ending. Like all these things feel like
this feels like a launch in a cool way.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting in the same way that Shang-Chi was. And I also think it's a very quality film made by an indie director that got to make an indie Marvel movie. It feels way more independent than anything we've seen in a while. And talking to the filmmakers, they kept stressing how much that was like, they gave so much leash to these filmmakers and they really wanted them to make this film. And apparently it was Kevin Feige that was really pushing for that asterisk and what it was revealed to be.
Interesting.
Which is cool that he was like, no, this is what we're doing. And it was a really cool carpet because I was talking to filmmakers that didn't feel like they were giving me sound bites. And that's so rare to like be at something the scale. And even that felt independent.
There's also the question of who do you think knew?
Yeah.
How many people associated with the movie just went, wait, what? They're doing what?
Yeah. Because like, what was the script? But yeah, I'm excited for you to see it and you to get to experience it. But yeah, this is our Hotline episode. I just wanted to get Jake's take outside of having seen it, and when he does get to catch it, we'll obviously talk about the Patreon pod.
Alexandra, we got into when I say argument, obviously I don't mean a real one, but I was I was explaining why she is part of the problem, because I would say like a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago, just before this movie hit the theaters, she was like, oh, I saw that, I keep wanting to call it NWO because I'm a wrestling fan. The Captain America New World Order, whatever it's called. I see Captain America 4 or 5. What number is it? 4. Is on streaming. Let's watch that. And I was like, no, it's not on streaming. It's on. You can stream it.
Buy it.
It's on streaming, but it's not on Disney, which is what you mean. She's like, well, that's bullshit. She's like, it should be available on Disney before whatever the next one comes out. And I'm like, and this is why we're in the situation we're in. It's like, no, you should be able to rent it.
Yes, for money. That would go to their box office-ish. Yeah, that's the home video release of 2025.
And she was like, I don't care. It's Marvel. I want the thing before I see the thing. I was like, all right, fine. Because she is very much like, I want to see this before we see that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm assuming that they don't really relate and it doesn't matter. But that's also, she has adopted the completionism.
I respect that, especially the MCU.
Yeah. Which is funny because that's not how I started the whole thing. But it wasn't because I didn't think it was going to succeed, because I thought it would be trash. And so I didn't see Thor until after
Avengers.
No, I saw pre-Avengers, but like right before. I think I didn't see Thor until like Hulk had already come out, like all the other things had already come out.
You knew the assembling meant.
And I saw it on like when it came to Netflix. I was like, all right, I guess I'll watch Thor. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, they're actually doing something here. And that was when I realized,
this has
wait
purpose.
a minute, this might be good. This might be a fun thing they're doing. These might be fun and interconnected in ways that matter.
Thunderbolts feels like that again. And that's the highest praise I can get.
I am saying that there's a lot of people. I see 3 people, maybe 4 so far, saying that they've seen it already and are going again today, tomorrow.
Yeah,
so like
I've seen it twice already.
So there's a lot of people who say that it must have some rewatchability, which is fun. I like that.
I saw it at the premiere, but I also, the first regular screening I saw, I got to see it at Vidiots, which was dope.
Oh, that's a fun one.
It was a really cool. And Marvel did it. Like Marvel had their.
That's interesting
because it's like a '90s indie movie, so they wanted to have that venue, which is so special.
I think of idiots. I think of it being an incredibly fun place to see a movie, but I don't think of it as an incredibly technically sound place to see a movie.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't the
You didn't feel,
Chinese,
but it felt fine though.
It felt fine.
Yeah.
It felt like a good watch, and the crowd was raucous because it's that audience. Like there was, and the whole thing on the marquee felt so 90s, and like it was really special.
Yeah, Alexandra and I literally we forgot to pull the trigger. We went and visited our friend Aurora, co-founder of Dragon Egg Radio, a couple weeks ago, and she is a member, one of the members at Vidiots, and I kept saying like, you need to tell us what's going on, and she was like, yeah, or you could just fucking become members. It's like $100. I was like, oh yeah, and so we keep going to it and talking about it, like, oh well, do we both need to do it? Because
one of us,
only one of us, like, because most of the time I think you can get a thing, but there's a lot of stuff that's not clear, so we wrote but now we just keep forgetting to pull the trigger. But I think that's worth. Venue. That's a worthwhile.
Yeah, it's also
just because of the exclusives. Also, the Battle of Wallace Island. They had a screening there with Tim Key in person.
Yeah.
And I had no idea it was even happening until the day of. And then when I found out about it, it was like, it's only for members. And I was like, you son of a.
It's actually a worthwhile investment if you're in LA, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's on the list. Right on. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
I really want to hear your thoughts because it's very much like an alt rock 90s vibed movie.
Right.
And like that's your jam. So I think you're going to have a good time. And I've been listening to Toadies nonstop ever since.
Toadies, the band?
Yeah. They're in the last trailer and like it was like a formative part of the vibe. I haven't thought of Toadies in years.
I think of them pretty regularly as they're probably one of my most listened to albums. Self-titled.
Yeah.
Is probably one of the most listened to albums.
I've been listening to Toadies constantly. So thank you, Thunderbolts.
I come from the water.
Yeah, all right, dude, so good. Such a bop.
Alrighty. We want to dive into, we have a stockpile of hotline calls.
Let's get to it.
Some of these are old. I apologize. Some of them are new.
What the past does, what it said.
We're also choosing because some people have called multiple times under the assumption that we would be doing episodes and they'd be on air.
That's on us.
And so I'm just going to kind of pick either the most recent of the batch, unless there was a clear thing. I haven't listened to all of them. I listened to some of them. I've read the transcripts for most of them. But in any case, you want to dive into our first call here?
Let's see what we got.
All right. Let's go to a long-time listener, many-time caller, Gilbert Short.
Gilbert.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. This is Gilbert up in Mission City. And I just had a question for you about Easter eggs, since it's Easter, I guess. Do you have an Easter egg that is your favorite, or one that took you by surprise and maybe made you laugh, or do the Leo pointing at the camera meme gif from It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I mean, there are always several that Coy points out, as part of his job, which is great. But Coy, has there been any that surprised you, even as an expert in these franchises? And Jake, are there ever any that you catch that you think are fun? My personal favorite, and I'm sorry if this takes anyone's favorite, but my personal favorite is when I was watching Mythic Quest and I realized that the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys put a Carol in HR on the show. I almost fell over laughing just because of the one episode of It's Always Sunny where they got jobs. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good week and happy Easter. Bye.
All right, Gilbert Short talking about Easter eggs. By the way, I had like a legit brain pause when he started this. Because he was like,
said Mission Hill. I was like, Bay Area.
Well, no, that too. That too. He did change his intro.
I was like, whoa, sir, you're from the Bay Area for years now.
But that wasn't my brain pause. It was that when he said, oh, we're talking about Easter eggs because it's Easter. Do you have a favorite Easter egg? And I was thinking like, motherfucker, what are you talking? A favorite Easter egg from when I was a kid?
Green?
Yeah, maybe I made a green and
with the stripes,
yellow one.
I like
maybe?
the stripes.
I don't know.
You've been out of pop culture for a little while.
Yeah, listen.
It's
my brain broke.
It's a moment where you see a visual on screen.
Correct.
I always go back to the Donald Glover one of his cameo that had like so many visual cues that tie to the first appearance of Miles Morales, because he plays the uncle of Miles Morales canonically in Spider-Man.
Right, yes.
So when he gets his hand webbed to the car, the license plate is Ultimate Spider-Man #1.
Oh, I see. I didn't see
and
that.
Like I love how layered that is, because that's not only a reference to the character and to the history of Miles, but also
Right. By the way, Duger13 in chat says yellow and purple paws. That's his favorite Easter egg.
Oh, good one. Good Easter egg.
Yeah, this is tough because this is one of those things where it challenges my memory, which is not great.
Sure.
Because these are the things that I notice in a moment, go, oh, that was fun, but then I forget about it immediately.
And then you're watching the movie and life goes on.
I mean, I think like Marvel has done, like, since the very beginning, this has been like a thing about Marvel movies. There's just so many countless Easter eggs in them.
I remember the first one I kept catching was Nails cigarettes in Kevin Smith movies. That's a favorite just because it's like the first I noticed.
Right.
Like continuity in Kevin movies is like the first I ever felt. So
and it's that thing where you realize like, oh, okay, there's multiple Hicks. Like these people are all related. Like they're talking about the same woman in the pool.
Right.
Like
Walt Flanagan's dog.
Yes. Well, yeah, there's a ton of that stuff. And that,
but like those things were always important to me.
Yeah. But now the question is are they Easter eggs
or
are they just part
universe?
Of his interconnected
and what's the difference?
Universe? Right. What's the difference? I think an Easter egg has absolutely no bearings whatsoever on the story. That's my definition of an Easter egg. I think an Easter egg is literally just like, did you see that thing? That's
so
a fun
Donald Glover's
thing.
Not an Easter egg, but his hand being attached to the license plate.
The license plate itself is the Easter egg.
But that has, I like that.
I think that's the big thing.
Okay.
This is not at all an Easter egg, but again, my brain is broken, so I can't remember this shit specifically. But this is just about the interconnectivity, and that is that when Friends went to air. What's her face? Lisa Kudrow was cast as Phoebe.
Okay.
The network was worried because the show that aired directly before it, one of my all-time favorites, Mad About You, she played a character
I remember that.
called Ursula. So what they opted to do, because they were worried that the fans would be confused by seeing the same actress for 1 hour on television. Like she was the original Walter Goggins. People keep talking about Walton Goggins.
I was everywhere.
About having 2 shows on HBO on Sunday nights. Listen, Lisa Kudrow was the first.
25 years earlier.
So what they did was they simply just gave Phoebe Buffet the last name and said they're twins.
Yeah.
Right?
And then she showed up later.
But it didn't take, it went on for ages
10
before
years.
they actually introduced
her twin sister, Ursula.
Yeah, Ursula Buffet as the actual twin sister. But the depths go deeper because also on Mad About You, at some point, Carl Reiner's character from my other favorite TV show, Dick Van Dyke, the show that Robert Petrie, his character, wrote for Alan Partridge. Oh my God, my brain just broke. Again, Alan Partridge. I should know. I have the Carl Reiner, Dick Van Dyke right there. Anyways, yeah. That character from the Dick Van Dyke show is on Mad About You. Okay. Stay with me here.
I'm with you so
as
far.
the same character doing a new TV show, and they acknowledge
the original
kayfabe, the fictional show from Dick Van Dyke show. So we now know that the Dick Van Dyke show and Mad About You are in the same universe
because of this other show,
right? Like it's the same character, and they acknowledge the things. They acknowledge things that occurred on the Dick Van Dyke show in Mad About You,
right?
Right. We also now know that Phoebe and Ursula are twin sisters, which means that all 3 shows take place in the same universe. Yet there is an episode of Friends where they are watching the Dick Van Dyke show.
Oh, I like that.
So it is the universe folding in on itself because the Dick Van Dyke show is also real,
right?
But a work of fiction.
I have
in the
another
same
one
universe.
for you in that universe. In Friends,
okay,
they talk about Die Hard in the first.
Oh
season,
yes, but then Bruce Willis is in it. Well, they do the same thing in Ant-Man. They talk about Friends,
right?
Which Paul Rudd is in.
Yes, and then he's in a
so
lot.
what I like to
also,
imagine.
John Favreau.
Wait, I have a fix.
Favreau.
Wait, before you get there,
Happy.
let me have a fix for this first. In the Friends universe, Paul Rudd is the star of Die Hard, and in the Marvel universe, it's Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis as both characters on Friends.
Yes, because he's not in. But Happy Hogan is in.
Is it wrong that
Friends.
I cared so much more about Mad About You than Friends, Darth Vadad? No, it is not wrong. Mad About You is one of the most forgotten television shows in history that should be in the briefest list of greatest shows of all time.
Helen Hunt, right? And
Yes.
Mad About You, she just popped up in Hacks, which I just started. And
we talked about that in the last. Yeah.
But yeah,
she's amazing.
So to answer your question,
Anyways, yeah.
Robin West Parker just answered my visual one. That was my favorite. An Amazing Spider-Man 2, Gwen Stacy dies as the clock shows 121, which is the issue she died in. That's my favorite visual one
fun.
of all time. Because that movie's not great, but there's
Right.
a lot of really emotional moments, and that Easter egg is such dedication to a visual thing. Doesn't affect the audience, but we get to see that they cared.
More Kevin Smith connectivity. The fact that Jay and Silent Bob die in Invincible because they're at the high school.
Yes!
But not the cartoon. in the comic book, there's Easter eggs in comic books galore as well.
Yes.
Let's not forget all of the the Earwolf and Comedy Bang Bang characters in Mr. Miracle.
Yep. Yep.
But yes,
there's so many good ones. But yeah, that 121 is definitely up there for me.
That's a good one.
Also, like, I don't know if a Wilhelm scream counts because those are great. Like, it's question
not really an Easter egg anymore. It's more of like a trope that
a novelty.
Right.
But yeah, those are some highlights. I mean, there's literally tens of thousands now that the MCU's been going so long.
We need a Mad About You airing in Stranger Things. I guess they aren't.
Because the actor.
Okay.
The guy from Stranger Things is Mad About You. Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser is one of the greatest of all times.
Yes. I like Robin. I like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I just think it's like,
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the better romantic versions of Spider-Man we've ever gotten.
I put it above most of the Tobey stuff, if not all.
Unfortunately, it's just a bad action movie.
Right.
It's like the inverse.
The action's
of
great, but the emotion about the action is.
That's what I mean. Like, but it's like good action, but who cares?
Right.
Whereas I think in the first movie, I care so much more about the action, and I think Peter Parker is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I don't like
those
him.
movies. If you average them out, pretty strong.
Yeah.
And get rid of the parents. All right. Well, yeah, let's get to our next call. Great question. Happy Easter.
Let's go to Harold. I like announcing the name beforehand. I feel like I'm in like a radio station.
You're like, and we got Harold on line 2.
Listen, the next stage of this is going to be live calls, but that's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole mess. And the live variables.
We don't have somebody to screen you weirdos.
Yeah, come on. It's a comic show.
Hey, guys. Harold from Alabama. Other show. Well, okay. First off, happy 5 years. Loved every single one of them. Wish y'all many more. And how dare y'all make the joke about the podcast is ending. As on behalf of the cast, of the fans, of course, I got a beeping in my car right now. Really? Okay.
So much going on.
On behalf of the cast, of the Koi cast, all of us, no, how dare y'all? Don't you end. Sorry that was beeping just ruined this call. But, okay, so, question. Sorry, gotta hurry. I'm very ADD right now. Other shows, other podcasts, not necessarily talking about comics and stuff, deal with, like, hey, am I the a-hole on this type questions? But this is comic book related. I had an issue with a store, like the guy just rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, this is
so
fun.
I quit going to that store. Sorry, going to
This feels like a radio
store,
call.
and I want y'all to decide if I was the a-hole or he was the a-hole with this. The store been going to for over a year. It was new in town. I had my monthly orders, and I would show up like once a month, and I would get them. It would be getting a lot at a time because I was doing once a month. So it was like every 4 to 5 whatever weeks, and it was just like when I came in, I'd been doing that consistently for a year, and the guy just like randomly said to me, he's like, "Hey, by the way, you need to come in more often to pick up your books, or I'm not going to sell them to you, or like I'm going to drop your list." And I was just like, "Oh, cool," and like paid, got my stuff, and just never went back. I was like, I thought that was crazy, but I understand. It was just, I got rubbed the wrong way. But am I the a-hole for that, or was he the a-hole? Like, I mean, obviously, me just like not going back to there. It's just like I had other options in town, thankfully. But anyway, I'll hang up and listen. That was really long. You could probably shorten this shit.
All right, Harold. So, all right, once a month,
yeah, that's
is a perfectly reasonable amount of time.
If you were like 6 months and you had like 20 books pulled,
honestly,
and they ran out of space, that's the only thing I can think of.
The last time that I had a box, when I first moved to LA, I decided I was going to try to once again start reading books. Shit, I can't even remember the name of the comic book shop, but it was in Sherman Oaks on Ventura, in a strip mall on the south side of Ventura.
Collector's Paradise?
No, it's
Earth
not
2?
Collector's
Because
Paradise.
there was an Earth 2 right there.
Maybe it was
Earth 2
Earth.
comics.
Maybe.
There were 2 locations.
It was like kind of nestled in a strip mall, and it was in the back.
It
was
on
a
the left
long,
side?
yes, it was a long,
Earth 2.
narrow store
on the second floor.
Yes,
Earth 2.
Okay,
not there anymore, but it was a great store.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think it was. And that was when I was like, all right, and I picked out a few titles. And I want to say that I went in maybe every 2 months for like 3 times, like 6 months. And then after 6 months, I realized like
It's not how you read.
I'm not reading them.
Yeah.
I don't care about them as much when they are in a floppy form versus when they are in a trade as behind you.
And that's my inverse, which is always fascinating.
And so I feel like at that point, but even then at 2 months, that it was fine. And I felt like, oh man, that's a, like,
stacking up.
Yes.
And the concern of the business owner of like, is this a loss?
Right.
That's the concern is like,
are you cutting into the inventory?
Yeah. Because you hold, 20 books, that's them on the line for that $50. And then they make the money when you spend the $80, that's their $30 profit. But until you buy that, that's them at a negative 50. Right. So there are comic stores that are so threadbare that their overhead is like, oh, if we're this deficit,
right.
That's the only thing I can think of. But if you have a month, that is not a response. Also, the way he sounded like he said it isn't acceptable.
Yeah, no.
If you were 6 months deep and if you had like, 10 books a week, we're talking thousands of dollars. That's different. Also, some stores are small, so like a spatial issue. But again, once a month, nah, he's wrong. Go to another store. And I'm glad you have multiple. I'm happy to hear you have multiple comic stores in your town. A rarity nowadays.
Yeah, that's what Darth said. Like, is the shop owner just annoyed that people were coming in looking for a book that sold out that was sitting in his pile? I don't think that's the case. Because even like, I don't know. I mean, that
does happen every so often, like monthly.
But again, you're still getting that sale in less than
You're
weeks.
the guy that reserved it. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
No, you weren't the asshole. Also, as we were talking about the radio show element, this is the most radio show question we've gotten in a long time.
I love this.
Should
we start an advice show?
Yeah, please.
Like
nerd advice.
Koicast After Dark.
Yeah.
Where we do just advice calls.
The Dear Bridget, but it's Dear Coy and Jake. Is that what it was called? Dear Bridget? What was the woman's name?
The
dating advice thing?
Yeah, no, I know. Oh shit! It was
something like that.
The second you said it, I said no, that's not it. It's blank, and it was on my tongue, and then it evaporated. Dear Alice.
Dear Alice.
There it is.
We're old, but not that old, so I'm proud of us because that's our parents' generation line.
We're gonna do a fun thing here because you're wearing pants, and as everybody knows, I podcast from in the nude from the hips down.
Yeah, he's a Donald Ducks.
Could you get up and turn that fan on because
it's real hot.
We've realized that the AC is not working.
Yeah,
it's broken. It's getting a little toasty in here.
My pants. Let me help.
So yeah, would you mind just pulling the little fan cable on that? I don't want people to see my privates on YouTube. We'll get banned. Oh, there we go.
Not
great.
For free.
Oh wait, yeah, click it one more time because that might be a little bit too aggressive. Let's go middle setting. Yeah, buddy.
All right, we're back.
We're doing it. Catherine Dawson Foy, have you read the second trade of Ultimate Spider-Man, Jake? No, it's sat there and it's been like on the plan for my daily, but I have been in sort of a work fire hell mode for the past week that ended only yesterday. So I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow.
Issue
is my plan.
16 came out last week, so I think
I'll have a
we're
third
about to
trade
have
soon.
third trade in a month.
Yeah. Well, it was when was it? April 18th? No, March 18th. So it should have been April. Oh wait, how many are in a trade? 5, 4?
5.
So yeah, you're right. It should be like
next month.
Yeah, next month.
They're on track.
I think Corey's right. It's a matter of the shop's capital is low. They're just too tight to the bottom line, probably.
But a month wiggle is scary, and they
dark.
That's just tricky business in general. But comic stores are in a dark way. But either way, he should not talk to you like that.
All right. Speaking of Catherine Dawson Foy, who just asked me about Ultimate Spider-Man, let's see what Catherine left on the hotline.
Hi, Corey and producer Jake. This is Catherine from Manchester in the UK. In regards to the MCU, I liked Captain America: Brave New World, and I loved Thunderbolts. Now the new Avengers. The latest Captain America film felt like Marines on a submarine, like a political thriller that's set on a submarine. Whereas without spoiling anything, Thunderbolts dealt with mental health and what happened after the snap and grief and loss and all those things. I liked Bucky's look in this latest Thunderbolts. It looked like it was ripped straight out of the Thunderbolts comic. As the live action of How to Train Your Dragon is out mid next month,
Woo!
I already know that Koi's already seen it because of CinemaCon. Please can one of the gift horses allow the first How to Train Your Dragon at least to be put onto the list for the patron-only pod?
Oh, unnecessary.
And just so that Alexandra and Jake can both see it before the movie comes out. How to Train Your Dragon is an actual real place. Universal in Florida has a new theme park called Epic Universe, and one of the lands is the Isle of Berk. There's also Dark Universe, which deals with the Universal Monsters films. There's also Super Nintendo World with Donkey Kong Country added an extra because Hollywood doesn't have that. And Magical Paris from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's straight out of Fantastic Beasts films, as well as an additional ending to the Harry Potter films as well. You can meet Roughnut and Toughnut, the twins, Astrid and Stormfly, Toothless and Hiccup. They've just literally been ripped out of the movies, as well as the rides in Isle of Berk. It opens properly on May 22nd. My questions for you guys is, who out of the MCU would you put with Toothless? Who would get on with Toothless the best?
Great question.
And also, who do you think out of the X-Men does Bucky get along with best? Much love to you both. Cheers.
Okay, there was a lot there.
First of all, great pair of questions.
Yeah. Also, just to you said put it on the list. You don't need to. How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of my favorite trilogies ever made.
Full stop. The thing that the reason why you don't have to put it, and nobody has to put it on the list, is because we are also going to be rewatching it anyway, because we have not seen the third, Alexandra and I.
Oh,
it has still just been. I have it in 4K Blu-ray in the closet. But we're doing that thing where I'm like, well, let's just watch them all again. You know what I mean? So we almost watched it the other night. We were in a fantasy mood, so we put a bunch of fantasy movies in a wheel, because that's what we always do. We spin the wheel to see what movie we're gonna watch. And we did not get that, but it's on the list. We're going to be doing that very soon because we do want to see the live action.
And I can say, holy crap, the live action's amazing.
Yeah.
Having seen it and loving the original, I can tell you it's special.
Also, talking about Universal Studios and all the fun stuff. I'm so upset at how much better everything is in Florida, considering it's Florida.
Then you have to live in Florida.
And I lived in Florida. I had like a locals pass when I lived there, and I used the shit out of it. It is my favorite theme park, Universal Studios there. And when I was there, they had just Islands of Adventure was new. So all the Marvel stuff, they had
still Marvel.
I know, but I'm talking about like pre-Disney, pre-MCU.
That's the one I prefer. Stuff. I went for the first time 2 years ago, and they have all the keyboard art. And it was all still like people walking around like they're in the animated series. Yeah. And that shit was great. But since then, they've made so many things. Like, I would love to go to all of the things they've made there. And listen, while I love Universal here, pales in comparison. Yeah, whenever I'm in Florida, which is usually for a con or something, I make Universal priority because it's so cool.
Okay, so who in the end? I think she said MCU specifically
would ride.
Who would we pair? Who do you want to see the buddy movie?
Yeah,
of
Toothless and
blank trains the dragon.
Love that.
Right, and then blank trains his X-Men dragon or her dragon.
Is the second question.
Yeah. So who is the first person that we would put? I mean, it would be kind of funny to I go curmudgeonly because Toothless is so cute and playful.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like, like old Logan.
I was going the character
a dragon around.
Oh, I love that. I'm just like, I guess this is efficient.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of great.
And he would definitely be the vibe of like Hiccup's dad. Like he's got that energy to
a little
him.
bit. Yeah, again, it's just like
dragon rider.
And also he constantly doesn't want to do something, but then Toothless makes a really cute face.
And you're like, God, it's like when Jubilee does something, he's like, all right, real look.
Right.
I'm gonna go with the character that's to me the most like Hiccup. Spider-Man feels like
that feels
parallel.
Appropriate.
I also feel like Jay Baruchel would have been an amazing Spider-Man back in the day.
100%.
Like to me, that's the energy.
Right.
So I think Spider-Man would be very peaceful and patient and get that little like.
Boop. All right. Well, since now technically they're all in the MCU, which of the three?
Andrew.
Okay.
Because I feel like he'd get his snark.
That's
like
fair.
He'd understand his wounded sarcasm energy.
Right.
Toby would punch him for no reason. I don't know why.
I also kind of like the idea of Doctor Strange being forced to fly around.
Dragons and magic do go hand in hand. A Sorcerer Supreme on a dragon's pretty cool.
There you go. And then the other one was what? Which X? Oh, who?
Bucky and an X-Men.
But who does he get along with? Is that what it says?
Who would team up? I guess get along with. Yeah, I think that's what it was from Catherine.
I mean, it's got to be Wolverine, Nightcrawler. It's got to be somebody who's been through the X program.
Yeah.
The Weapon X program, because there's so much similarity there.
In the comics right now, Ultimate Wolverine is the Winter Soldier.
Right.
It's not Bucky, but Logan's the Winter Soldier. So they would get along great.
I feel like it's
by nature.
I picked him for both.
Colossus.
But Wolverine. Colossus.
I feel like they'd get along.
It would be funny watching him being like, oh, you only have one?
Yeah.
And then his whole body. Yeah. Oh, cute arm. And then his...
That's a good scene.
Yeah, I mean,
Who else has been brainwashed?
That's the thing is I feel like at some point they're all, oh, you know what? Watching him have like a really interesting story with Jean Grey.
As he goes through his mind, unlocking stuff.
Yeah, and just about like the relationship of somebody who can enter your mind.
And the being trapped in a corner of your mind like Xavier had bottled her Phoenix up.
And exactly. Also, the Phoenix story. Actually, that's my vote. Yeah. I would love to see a, like, it doesn't need to be romantic. Don't make it gross. But like a real, like.
Pairing.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, we'll go Jean Grey on this.
Bucky
Guys,
and Logan
like
are getting drinks at the bar together for sure,
100%.
says Robin. And Darth Vadad, Thor as the dad, Thor with Toothless, because he's very much like the dad.
Love that. I love that. Jasmine, what up?
But early Thor.
Yeah.
Early Thor.
When it was like, Shakespearean Thor.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh.
Or yes, when he was, no, I meant like Thor 1 Marvel, when he was just.
Kenneth Branagh, like Shakespeare.
Sure, yeah. When he was, you say Shakespeare, I see that it's like he thought he was Shakespeare. Actually an idiot. Like when he's kind of a doof.
Yeah, that era. But yeah, I like that. That's fun.
All right, let's see what else we got on the hotline here. Let's go to Hamish from Leeds. Hamish, before I play his clip, Hamish, I love you, bud. He left a 7-minute long message and then said,
had that much tape,
and then tried to trim it down and sent a 4-minute long one instead. Hamish, I apologize for not playing. Hamish wanted to recommend manga / animes,
okay,
which is a conversation that comes up a lot in this program.
Not our thing.
And listed 25 of them and details about each of them.
You bold beast.
Yes. I suggest that you post that in the Discord for everybody. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest, and I do not mean to offend Hamish or any of his like-minded individuals. I will never read manga.
I just don't have time to add to my plate.
Yeah, and also I'm not interested. I have Batmanga.
Yeah, that's
that an old roommate of mine gave, like from Japan, but translated to English. And I read like 3 pages and I was like, I'm not interested.
I really liked My Hero Academia and I watched a lot of it, and then I left it for a while and I lost that familiarity with it.
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched one of the movies, actually with Jasmine Page Morris in the chat. And the manga anime-ness of it all, I just couldn't, it's not palatable. Like the fainting and the sweat and the one always horny character, like all those things just don't suit me. So it's just not my thing.
Also, not for nothing, but when you're trying to get somebody on board with something, 25, too many titles.
A little bit much.
Give me 2 titles to choose from.
Yeah.
Because it becomes so overwhelming that you don't know. You just go like, oh, I don't know what.
It's also like I really struggle with I guess Gen Z. Sorry to blanket statement about a younger generation like an old man, but like that really high. There's a high energy thing where everyone's like always yelling and highly emoting, and like I remember this one manga. I was like at New York Comic Con, and there was a whole scene about like people fighting over running to the bathroom to have a crap, and it was like 20 minutes of people fighting to poop, and I was like, I don't think this is for me. Nor do I think
it sounds funny, but if it's not handled 20 minutes is a long time.
And just that kind of sensibility of that loud, like I'm emoting, that I feel like TikTok has made too public.
Right. We've offended Jasmine in the chat. Don't apologize.
That's fair.
All right, anyways, let's get to the first part of Hamish's call. Here we go.
Hey up, Corey and Jake. It's Hamish from Leeds again. So Corey, I watched your video on your favourite albums of last year. Funny enough, I also did a video on my favourite albums of last year on my YouTube. And I asked, shameless plug, wink wink. Long story short, I was meant to be moving countries for a job a few months ago, and then that all fell apart at the last minute, and I have no job. So if I can make my YouTube my job, that'd be great. I'm currently trying to listen to an act from every country in the world this year, and that's part of my YouTube. And
cool.
I haven't listened to Kendrick Lamar, but that was my favourite line of last year. Obviously, it was Trying to Strike a Chord. It's probably A minor. I mean, come on, nothing else is going to beat that. Although, Corey, you did lead me to Echo a few years ago, so cheers for that.
Nice.
My question is, Jake, what were your favourite albums of last year? I'm sure you love Brat.
Big fan.
Hamish, all right, so before we answer the question, Hamish, when you're a little piece of advice here, when you're plugging your YouTube, you slow down a bit, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't. I wanted to help.
It's I think it's Nihilasta. It's Nihilasta for those. Check that out. Nihilasta. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it right. Nihilasta. Anyways, let me tell you, I am such a man in his 40s that I struggled to even think of a album that I listened to that came out last year. Pearl Jam's Dark Matter, I think maybe the only album.
So your favorite
that I listened to from the entire year. I think that Oh, All That's East is West of Me Now by Glenn Hansard. I think that might have been like late 2023 though.
Okay.
Because that was coming out around the time before, right when Alexandra and I left LA to go to the East Coast. I think that was late 2023. Man, I am so detached from new music.
Yeah.
This is what happens though. Oh, you know what? Paris Paloma's album. Was that from 2024, 2000?
Paris Paloma.
Really? You know, just heard that song Labor. It's very popular.
What kind of genre?
It's alternative rock, folk. It's she had an incredible performance on Stephen Colbert on whatever that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Paris Paloma. If that, I have a feeling though that's an old song that like TikTok made popular.
Yeah, it happens.
So yeah. Oh, you know what? Never mind. All right. So I think I might have 3. Wells.
That I know.
Another person that like this is the one thing that social media is doing well.
Yeah,
is that it's
keeping
actually
music
introducing new artists in ways that Wells' album that released just last year, fantastic. Again, I don't know that's all new music. I think it's people who are capitalizing on the success of something happening. I think Paris Palma's album might have been. I want to say it's called Aurora is the name of the album, but it's that one song, that single Labor is fucking amazing. I highly suggest everybody watch the performance on I think it was Colbert, could be wrong. But yeah, that's it. I think that might be literally the 3 albums I can even think of.
I mean, I ranked my top 4. It was Kendrick Lamar's GNX.
Yeah, Kendrick came out with an album, didn't listen to
Doechie's Alligator Bites Never Heal. I talked about
it a lot here. I
love Doechie.
Is that Doechii?
Doechii.
I think I've seen the name.
She's incredible. I started talking about her. I started talking about her about a year before she like broke out, and the audience here has been really cool because they're like, "Oh my god, Coy talked about her." So Doechie's incredible. Jack White's No Name album is pretty great. It's my favorite of his.
No Name or self-titled?
No, it's called No Name.
Gotcha.
Literally on the side of the vinyl it says No Name. And then I really liked Eminem's Coup de Grace, which was an interesting. It's a think piece about his immaturity and how he made so much money off being immature, but how he needs that as a vice, and it's his addiction is like saying stuff that's going to piss people off.
Right.
But how he's actually a better person than people that, and he accepts that people think he's a piece of shit because of the things he says, but he's shown that like he's raised 3 daughters and he's put them through school. So like, which voice is stronger, and is it bad of him to profit off this immaturity still? And there was a beautiful like it's Eminem versus Slim Shady as an art piece. And it's all like over a 20 song album that if you listen to it in order, you see the death of this Slim Shady character and the rebirth. It's really beautiful.
Right.
I never thought Eminem would make like an album like that.
Concept-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like through dissection of maturity in 2025 and like commenting on his 90s self versus present self, himself as a 40 something. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's also like where my like white bread milk toast, that's where it lives. Like there's like, I know, like I'm so fine tuned to how white I am.
Sure.
And how like the level of edge I have and my level of like like I have like anti-authoritarian, like fucking hate everything and authority. But then I'm also like, well, let's not be assholes. Like and it's also, part of it is also just like I can watch the halftime show and go like, oh, that was entertaining. I enjoyed that. I have no interest in listening to this album.
That's fair.
And then like that's
you
my
can
level.
See talent and be like, not for me, but I can respect it.
I love street art. I hate graffiti. I think that
I like that.
I think that Sarah Sherman is one of the hottest women on television, but mostly when she's in like a really basic blonde wig.
Sure.
Right? Like that's like when she's in a blonde wig, Alexandra's like, you love it, don't you? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Everything about
she's so gorgeous. And like very generic, the type, like they're making fun of the character she's playing. And I'm like, but
that's pretty was working for me though.
She looks amazing.
Graffiti, not street art's a very interesting concept.
That's
like
me.
That. Yeah.
That's me.
And
no, street art, not graffiti.
Sorry, but I still am in the discovery music era, but I definitely like.
I need to. I've been playing so much music recently.
Yeah.
And I'm prepping. There's a little bit of music involved, not a lot, but a little bit of music involved in the movie that I'm working on. So I'm kind of working on that and trying to source that.
I'd love to know what you think. Doechie's pretty fantastic.
You'll have to remind me.
I'll text you a
link.
Spotify link.
Michael McCarstle, I'm a millennial and I watch anime. Started watching anime in 98. Well, you got in young.
I'm going to the Dan to Dan season 2 premiere, so I'll know what Dan to Dan is next month.
Dan to Dan is that?
Next week.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll post the second message that Hamish sent where he just kind of goes through all of his suggestions. I'll just post that into Discord.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I don't know if Hamish is in the
But listening to this,
Discord.
Hamish will know we're sharing it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's in the Discord, but if so, yeah. All right. Thanks for that. And let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've been doing the ahead of times. Let's go to Mass Llama. I'm going to take off that mask one day. And what
He'll
if he's
just be a llama.
not even a llama? For all we know, he's a alpaca this whole time.
Betrayal. What's the difference between a llama and an alpaca?
Welcome to KoiCast
Science?
Bloodlines. You've seen all the KoiCasts, but this time you're going to learn about the origins of Koi and Jake in KoiCast Bloodlines. Hey y'all,
Bloodlines.
this is Masked Llama of the Legendary Fighting Federation, and I was calling. I just saw that Final Destinations was releasing a Bloodlines movie, and there are like 6 different horror franchises that have all released Bloodlines movie. There's Hellraiser Bloodlines, there's Wrong Turn Bloodlines, and apparently it's usually kind of deal with a family of a genre. So I was kind of curious your thoughts on, I don't know, one, if you had a favorite tagline for movies, something that sort of stuck around a lot, or what you thought of like horror movies that finally reveal the origin of things. Does revealing the origin of something scary does it help the movie? Does it hinder the movie? And I know a lot of folks say that true horror comes from the fear of the unknown, and so you should never get explanations for scary stuff. But that always kind of feels like a cop-out to me of poor writing. You know, if there's something weird going on, like, I want to know the story behind it. Maybe not at first, but like by the 3rd movie, yeah, you better start telling me a little bit about what's actually going on. Anyway, that's just rambling thoughts. Hope y'all are having a great day. Bye.
Mass Llama. Is there more? No, there it goes. Bloodlines. So yeah, they named. I was trying to figure out because there are a lot of movies that do the colon subtitle Bloodline or Bloodlines. I did see this online that people were kind of making fun of it. I want to try to find like a definitive list, but I can't.
Do you know who's in Final Destination Bloodlines?
Who?
Anna Laurie.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wait. You know what? I saw her
She's
post
in
about
all the
that.
marketing. She's
I
the
forgot.
front
I've
of
seen
all the trailers.
I forgot. I've seen. Yes.
A friend of ours is
yes.
is the screaming girl at the barbecue that's like got a major, decently sized part, and she's
So,
in
yeah.
The Black Phone too.
There we go.
She's having a hell of a hard year.
So there we go. Final Destination Bloodlines is Wrong Turn Bloodlines, Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, Hellraiser Bloodline, Tremors 5 Bloodlines,
Wow.
Day of the Dead Bloodline, Wonder Woman Bloodline, Tekken Bloodline,
Wonder Woman.
Friday the 13th Vengeance 2 Bloodlines.
That is a long title.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Can we acknowledge Friday the 13th Vengeance 2 Bloodlines? It's got 2 numbers, 2 subtitles. Friday the 13th Vengeance 2
Yeah.
Bloodlines.
Yes.
Bit much.
A bit much. Wrongful Death 2 Bloodlines. The Melee Chronicles Bloodlines. Vampire. Yeah. All right. Now we're repeating. Yeah. There's a lot of things called Bloodlines. Assassin's Creed Bloodlines.
Oh.
But that's a
Game.
no. Anyways. He said, "Is there a tagline?" I think he meant subtitle,
Oh, because my favorite tagline is Alien vs. Predator.
which is what.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Way better than the movie.
yeah.
But it's memorable as hell.
Right. I worked on a marketing campaign for a movie that I don't know that it ever came out. I don't know. I don't want to say the title of it, just in case. Also, I'm sure I signed an NDA, but I had to help with all the marketing. I had to, so the company that was my original distributor for my feature film was so impressed with all the marketing I did on my own that they hired me as a consultant.
That's awesome.
So they were like, "Oh, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to be like a consultant for the other movies in our lineup because we have all these indie movies, but they have shitty posters and shitty names and shitty marketing." Any case, the movie was about a killer catfish, right?
Okay.
And so I thought it was obvious. I made the joke, "Be careful what you fish for," and they were just like, "Fuck yeah, that's what we're doing." I was like, "Wait, is that not already the tagline?"
Pay me more. That's so
Yeah.
good.
But anyways, so
Careful
yeah,
what
but those
you
are taglines.
fish
I think
for.
he meant subtitles.
Okay.
I think that like the best subtitles are the ones that become the movie. We've already mentioned one, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
Right?
Electric Boogaloo. I think of all the time.
Electric Boogaloo is the greatest.
It's the one.
Is the single greatest
like
subtitle.
I don't
of
think you
all
can
time.
top the Electric Boogaloo.
Then there are some things that the movie becomes a subtitle, like for example, A New Hope, Star
Right.
Wars, and no, that was always Star Wars. Rambo, First Blood,
Which is
just
First
called
Blood.
First
is the,
Blood. That happens to a lot of movies that become like legacy,
iconic because of that.
or they just go, well, we're changing
and
the
there's
name.
6 in the series, and it's like
Right.
we need the thing.
Right.
Man, I'm stumped a little.
Yeah. But I mean, I think you're right. Electric Boogaloo was the single
peak.
greatest.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I always thought X-Men 2, X-Men United was weak. When I think of X2,
I think The Revenge is a
also
terrible.
fun.
But it's overused.
Oh, 100%.
Like The Revenge is like
is like Bloodlines.
It's that's up there. Pretty rough. They're still talking about. I was like, oh, what's the chat to say? They're still talking. They're still yelling about anime.
Hey, give them that 25 list.
Nerds.
Give it to them. Yeah, who knew our audience was nerdy?
Speaking of though, I've never seen anything beyond the first Final Destination movie.
I've seen 1, 2, and maybe 3, and this is 6. So I'm missing half at least.
I feel like the first movie is such a time capsule of my childhood.
I love the first one.
So my teenage years.
Yeah.
I definitely felt a boob over the shirt to that movie. You know?
Yeah, it was. Devon Sawa also just popped up on Hacks,
and he's such a nice boy.
He follows me on a social media, and I'm always like nervous because I sometimes like I tweet and I'll be like, "What did Devon Sawa think of that?" Like, there's some people that when they follow you, it affects you every so often. Like periodically, I'm like, "Hope Devon Sawa agrees."
It doesn't happen to me anymore because I got off Twitter. So all the people who followed me on Twitter now I don't
doesn't pop
like
up.
all of my my blue checks that used to matter.
Yeah, there it goes.
They're all gone now anyway. But
oh yeah, you're right, Darth Vadad, Fast and the Furious, all of those, because it's The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, but
Tokyo
those aren't
Drift,
subtitles though.
Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Furious 6, Fast and Furious 7.
I know, but again,
the Furious.
These are not subtitles.
Sure.
These are just renaming the movies.
And they're great, but they're not
retitles.
subtitles. Yeah. But what a journey.
Anyways, Bloodline.
Okay.
I think we got one more call for the day.
Wonderful.
Hey, before I do this, tell people how they can also do this.
If you too would like to do this, this is how you do this. 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722. You guys are the co-hosts of this show. We love to hear from you as per our radio episode this week. So you can also send a voice memo to contact@koicast.com. We check that as well. So please do send in these and those. Also, the Discord is completely free. We have a Patreon that is a patron-only pod where we review literally everything that we have been watching, listening to, etc., like all the arts we're diving into. But there's a Discord that is at koicast.com that is totally free. So you can support us at koicast.com by getting merch. You can support us by becoming a patron. You can also just check out the Discord. You got a lot of ways to get in here. So do some of that.
Before I do the last hotline call, we do actually have an email as well, just a plain old email.
Oh,
from Duger.
Duger!
Our old pal Duger, one of Doug Squared.
Very good Dougs.
No spoilers for Thunderbolts for those who haven't seen it, which is me. I don't know how you're gonna answer this question. The question is a spoiler.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. You know what, Doug? You're fired.
Come on, Doug.
No longer a listener. He's been fired from
no
listening.
longer listens.
Okay. Do you think between Fantastic Four trailers and the post-credit scene from Thunderbolts, they have basically given away the entire plot of the Fantastic Four movie?
Yes. No, not the entire, but I feel like they've given away like kind of Age of Ultron where it's like beat. Now I'm going to go. But there's enough that has to happen between A and Z that we don't know. But I do worry about the context of the trailers.
Okay. Who do you think will end up on Sam Wilson's Avengers team? His name is Captain America, bitch.
Yeah.
Stop being a racist, Duger.
Vision.
Duger says MCU a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
He's a real alt-right MCU fan. He hates that I specified white Vision. That's just what people are. I'd say Vision. I'd say, man, it's tricky because like I don't know who's contractually coming back. Not Hawkeye. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
Jeremy Renner's like doing press tour because he's doing a book. Like he's got a memoir coming out. And apparently they offered him half of his rate to come back for Hawkeye 2 because the first one didn't do that well. And he's like, is it because I got ran over and I'm half the guy I used to be? But yeah, unlikely to see Hawkeye back. I don't know. I would say
it's got to be it's got to be the young people that have been
I feel like they're going to
introduced.
become the Young Avengers though. Because of the
but they might just be nixing that, and that just might
fold
be
them into Sam Wilson.
the Avengers might be young people, young Avengers.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, so that's a possibility. There's a lot of them, plus Sam leading them. I could see that.
I mean, we've got.
I don't know if Captain Marvel's going to be a team player. I don't know if she wants to come back and do more.
What's going on with there? But we've got Ms. Marvel.
Right.
We've got
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, we've got Kate Bishop.
We've Patriot. We got mostly youngins. Wiccan.
You think we're gonna see? Oh yeah, Wiccan. I forgot about that show. That was another really good show.
I guess it's solid.
What about his Wiccan's brother as well? We don't know.
Hulkling, I think, will come inevitably.
Oh, Hulkling, right?
His lover, and then brother as well.
Right. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, I would guarantee. Shang-Chi, I would say.
What do you think we're gonna see? Moon Knight again?
I think Shang-Chi's more likely, and I also think Shang-Chi is like a rule follower.
You think we're gonna see anybody from Loki? Any of the other additional people that were introduced? Any of the characters?
I could see Owen Wilson. He was beloved.
Yeah, but that's a bad ending.
It's him on a jet ski.
Yeah, I want him to just be free.
Yeah.
Let
him roam like a dog in a field.
Now let's do our final call from everybody's favorite debonair, deep-voiced dad, Darth Vadad.
Hello again, Coy and Jake. This is Doug from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on the Discord. I was just wondering, in light of your penchant, Coy, for mishearing things, do you have a favorite? Do either of you have a favorite misheard song lyric? The one that I got wrong for many, many years is from the Beatles, "I'm So Tired." The line is, I can't sleep, I can't stop my brain. And I always thought it was, I can't sleep, the cat's got my brain, like a cat's got your tongue. I like mine a little better, but
I love yours.
Wrong. Take care and have a good one.
Cat's
Darth
got
Vadad.
my brain.
Oh man, I felt like a cat's got my brain recently.
I'm struggling today. The chat says Thor, Spidey, and Monica Rambeau and Hulk are options. There's some options in there.
There you go.
Guys, a cat's got her brain. We're a little slow. I could see Thor because of the dad stuff.
Sure.
I could see if Captain Marvel, then definitely Monica Rambeau. Hulk, I don't know, to be honest. Okay,
what about
so
Valkyrie?
I would love to see more Valkyrie. I would love to see Tessa Thompson all the time. I have two. Growing up literally up until I watched Austin Powers, I thought it was Secret Asian Man. And I was like, how can someone be secretly Asian? That's a weird thing. And then the movie came out and I was like, oh, Agent Man. I thought he was secretly Asian for a very long time.
There are some things that just shouldn't have been said on the podcast.
Yeah, I thought it was Secret Asian Man. He's not. He's an agent.
You thought the song
for years.
was
I was a child.
Secret Asian Man.
Yeah. I was like, what a weird thing to sing about. So yeah, that was one.
Wow.
And then the other one was, I thought it was Transformers, Robots, Sneaky Eyes. I thought they had sneaky eyes.
But it doesn't sound anything like that.
I don't know. I was a child.
Hang on a second.
Transformers, Robots, Sneaky Eyes.
Okay, hang on a second. There's no part of that.
Apparently I've been canceled along with Duger.
Yeah. Can I? Is this the theme song? I want to play the theme song to it.
Doe Eyes, thank you.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
It's so clearly an M.
No, that's more than meets the eye. It's the next lyric.
Oh,
when did they say robots in disguise? I thought they were still talking about eyes.
Okay, wait. Don't talk over it, because
Okay.
then I can't separate the audio.
Wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, robots in disguise. The Transformers,
That's what I thought.
the eye. The Transformers.
That is a stretch. That is so clear to me. Robots in disguise.
Because you know it, but when
No,
you're
but
a
even
child
not,
and
even
it's all
then.
like augmented, I thought it was Sneaky Eyes. I guess because they all look sneaky.
But wait, you thought it was what?
Transformers, Robots, Sneaky Eyes. Instead of Robots in Disguise, I thought it was Sneaky Eyes. Because there's another line about eyes.
I think maybe
I was very young.
Did your parents still listen to this?
They watched that when I was a kid.
But do they still listen to the podcast I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
They do? Okay. I was just gonna say that they did a bad job. I don't want to insult anybody, but I just don't think you're that bright.
You know, that's also Doe Eyes also had the same. So thanks, Doe Eyes.
Oh boy,
we're all canceled together.
Jeez Louise, don't punch a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, no, that's a gift horse of knowledge.
This is one of those things where I'm certain there are tons of lyrics that I still just don't know properly. But you have to realize too, like I come from grunge. Like my
which is
favorite
Pearl Jam was referenced 10 minutes ago.
My favorite bands are like Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are mostly inaudible anyway. I like the melody of what they're saying. So I think that's like misunderstanding lyrics is part of the joy of music for me.
I
can't think of one.
You're like, this is for me.
I
Darth
can't think of
Vadad,
one.
thank you. Koi's parents are A+. Media just poison Koi's brain.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Also, I've got one that's visual.
Oh, what does that mean?
So I was raised on Rage Against the Machine and White Zombie and Prodigy, like because
sure.
my dad, like that's
Sure,
the music he grew up
yeah.
with. Up until I was like 14, I thought it was Rally Around Your Family, Pocket Full of Shells, because they all went to the beach.
Like you thought shells meant.
I thought they all like were hanging out at the beach.
Right.
And they were all hanging out in a
now
circle.
that probably that's
full
the
of shells.
most common thing.
Yeah.
Because I think there are a lot of lyrics where they're homonyms.
Right. And you're a child.
And you don't understand the double entendre,
Right.
or you don't really know what's being said. I
Pocket
think
Full of
that's
Shells, I thought was like a vacation song.
really, really common.
Like you're going to play volleyball, Rally
Right.
Around Your Family, Pocket Full of Shells.
I mean, listen, the fucking orange rapist asshole that leads this country, in quotes, gets up and dances to a song that is so very clearly about hooking up at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And still goes like,
This
is not it. We don't have, listen, born in the USA, right?
Yeah.
Koi's hearing and comprehension is not on Mama J. I was making a joke. You guys don't need to come to their defense.
Hey, thanks for defending my family.
They know I'm kidding with them.
Yeah.
And if not, it's probably because they're dumb enough to
they're
raise
great
this fucking-
parents. All right. That, I believe, is the show today.
Yeah, Yellow Ledbetter lyrics, Chad Mason chat, are completely understandable. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
What's a kid? Thank you for coming to my defense. All right, that is going to do it on this episode of our radio show with all the hotline goodness. Thank you all very, very much. Please, as I said a few minutes ago, check out koicast.com.
Yeah.
We got mugs, we got
Yes,
hats,
next some
we got
merch.
sweatshirts.
Sweet. Speaking of, not understanding anything and not being able to read or have any sort of comprehension.
We got a lot of shirts about that.
I'm rocking my mispronunciation shirt in which, Maestro and Darkseid are fist bumping intergalactically.
Yeah, good old Maestro. What a delight.
There's a cozy hoodie. We've got mugs. You can see a mug right there. We've got hats. I'm trying to point to your screen. There's hats up there. Obviously,
Hats.
That's a PWP hat. But listen, we have ones that say KoiCast and all sorts of other stuff. That's actually one of the new corduroy hats I was telling you about.
Ooh.
You can check it out. It's for PWP. It's for the wrestling podcast on the network. But you can see really nice little. And you can get that same kind of hat in a really sweet KoiCast design. Really lovely. Good.
Darth Vadad's wearing his Pophead shirt.
Oh shit! Yeah, we got all sorts of great stuff. And honestly, man, the merch it's very helpful. We don't make a lot of money on it, and there are months where we go like, oh shit, is paying for the shop worth it? And then there will be other months where it's like, oh, it's definitely worth it.
This is how we can do anything.
Yeah, but we need to make sure. So listen, I know that we very casually plug the shop at the end of every episode,
but it's helpful.
But I really want to be like, hey, no, if you really enjoy the show, snag a piece of merch. And if you're like, hey, there's nothing on there I like, well, first off, look harder. There's too many things. But also throw a suggestion out there if there's something that you're into.
Also, the Patreon is very helpful as well. So
100%,
check out all those things.
yes.
Patreon.com/KoiCast. Very, very helpful. And as always, 818-794-0722. What are we laughing at?
Michael McCarstle. Wait, Yellow Ledbetter had actual words in it?
At time to time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to do it for this week. The chaos of the schedule, remotely continues. We appreciate you guys as we've ebbed and flowed. If you guys haven't noticed, I have, 7 or 8 jobs. And Jake is on the other side of some chaos of the job. But man, it has been a tiring spring as we head into summer. I hope there is some normalcy. I want a week of sleep at some point. It's coming. It'll happen. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Dragon Wagon.